Once you make the decision to sell everything and to hit the road to live as a full-time nomad, it's a life-changing decision that alters your life, and that if you ever want to get back into the conforming life in an apartment or house, it'll take a little effort, it will take finances, and it will take a level of mental capacity to overcome committing again. Always say you should have at least $5,000 in savings if you decide to hit the road full time, because you'll at least need enough to get back into the conforming life first and last month rent and security deposit if you ever need to get back into an apartment or whatever it may be. But I think about not just what it's like and what you need to hit the road, but I also think now, being that I've been on the road full time for 4 years, I think, what does it take to get off the road? And so again, it'll take money, it'll take a mental commitment back to conforming. There's nothing wrong with conforming, and there's a great value in stability of a home base, but that stability kind of suffocates creativity. There's a little worry there. And for me, one of the things that kind of concerns me is once I get off the road as a full-time nomad, I don't think I would ever go back on the road as a full-time nomad unless there was an extreme circumstance in my life. I had no choice, or just again, extreme circumstance that really changed my mind. Because I think you only kind of get one real shot at being a full-time nomad. Maybe two for some people. But the huge amount of energy, time, emotions, finances that it takes to get on the road, off the road, it's a huge change. And I only think you do that once or maybe twice. And I am not talking about those who get off the road during extreme weather and they rent a Airbnb short term. I'm not talking about those who go to a hotel maybe once a month to take a break from the road. I am talking about those who get rid of their home base. They sell their house or they get out of a lease. They hit the road full time in their vehicle or RV. Do that for several months, or I really want to say several years. Because I think to be a full-time nomad, for it to stick, you have to have done it for over 18 months, about 2 years, So, my opinion, because that's when you get the real flavor. If you live full-time in your vehicle, car, RV, for 2 years, you have gone through the cycles. You've gone through the initial high, you've gone through getting bored, you've gone through some extreme circumstances, weather extreme circumstances, society shutdowns, you've gone through knocks on the doors, you've gone through feeling liberated again, and you've gone through all the cycles, the ups and downs over a 2-year period, a 2 to 3 year period, definitely. Like they say, most businesses, you don't know if they're going to succeed till 3 to 5 years, because it takes about 3 to 5 years for a person to mature into something, whether a business or lifestyle. So, but my main thought in this video is committing to, if I ever get a home base again, committing to the fact that I'll probably never be a full-time nomad again. And that is something that I have mixed emotions on. In one sense, I'm okay with it because I never really got on the road to be a full-time nomad the rest of my life. I kind of got on the road to stay liquid and flexible until I can get down to Florida full-time. I wanted to cut my monthly expenses in half because I was paying a lot to live in New Jersey in the place I was at. And I wanted to build up savings and try some investments and side hustles so that I can work on producing alternate income in hopes to retiring early. And I've worked on all those things. And so now, if I go back and I get a home base, really my only issue, I guess, would be that, there is this extreme liberation of just this full-time nomad life, this extreme lifestyle that gives you an extreme edge, an extreme level of creativity. Now, it is bothersome too, though. It's not all perfect. There's, the downside of weather conditions, of always being on the road, always being in public. But there is downside to everything. There's downside to being in a fixed area with fixed neighbors, with fixed expenses. So I guess my understanding that nothing in life is perfect, right? Because I owned a house for 15 years. I've lived in my car for 4. I'm like in no man's land, literally, like where I understand life to the point that I know nothing is perfect. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what's best. And it's hard to say at this point. And then it's also hard to say, I do not feel that it'd be worth it for me to buy something and then not like it and sell it and end up back on the road. Now, I could do it. You say, well, what about renting? I don't feel it's worth it to rent unless I had to, because, for me, rent is just throwing money away. I mean, I'd rather just save it and live like I'm living for the past 4 years. So, those are the obstacles that it's very tough once you get on the road and you stay on the road, thinking about, will you ever get off the road? Because it's like, in one sense, I say to myself, use up all your youth. I'm a middle-aged man. I'm not young, but I'm 40 years old right now. I would say, middle age from 40 to 60 is the time to travel and be on the road. I would say 60 to 70 is time to at least have some type of home base. So in your 70s, 80s, 90s, if you live that long, you have stability. Because I think that having a higher level of stability, the older in age you get, is wisdom. And I even think when you're younger in age, when you're in your teens and 20s, I think you need stability. Because I think you have to develop yourself, you have to develop your career. Again, your brain doesn't fully develop till 25. You don't know yourself till 35. So I would say between 35 to 55 is the prime years to live on the road. Because hopefully by 35, you have somewhat of a career and you can figure out if you can make it work on the road. I would think by 35, you know yourself, you kind of know your personality. And I would think by 55, you can qualify for senior housing. You can start to take out maybe pensions, and you're close to retirement age. So, and that makes sense to get off the road because now you know what your fixed budget will be close to by retirement. So 35 to 55 is those prime years. I mean, I'm 40, so I say to myself, should I keep doing this, for another decade or so? And if everything goes well and I keep saving and keep picking up, keep working a main job, picking up side hustle money, I'd be in a great position in my 50s. But that if is a big thing. If I don't get hurt, if everything in the economy stays the same, and it's like, there's so many different things that can happen. Again, certainly during the coronavirus, when everything shut down, all the nomads suffered. And those who didn't have a home base suffered. However, the coronavirus, we're towards the end of the pandemic, God willing, and if I had bought a home base, I don't know if I would have been happy, because now everyone's getting ready to travel again. So there's no guarantee to life, so it's like, you just, you're looking at all your factors, your age, your health. And I'm looking at the factor that at 40, if I get off the road and then I decide, well, I don't think I would decide that. My main thing is, I think if I get off the road, I know I'll probably never go back on the road full time. And so I'm trying to savor this nomadic life, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't quit too early, or I don't know, quit because I'm not forced out, I'm taking my time, or I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to make sure I don't get out of this lifestyle too early, but at the same time, I'm trying to make sure I don't stay in this lifestyle too late, because everything has an expiration date. So it's discerning that, period that you need to change is a very tough thing, So, but I believe as I talk it out, as I experience life, it will flow in the natural order, as long as I am honest with myself and I'm realistic and I use not just my gut, but wisdom, and I follow all those factors. And with the grace of God, I believe, it'll all work out. But I wanted to use this opportunity to share it in a video, to document it, to show up, And hopefully these videos help you. If they do, click that blue join button if you like unlimited access. Support the channel. Be part of the channel. Check out my playlist with thousands of free videos. Keep showing up. Take care of yourself. Healthy relationships, healthy food, healthy activity. Go to sleep early. Wake up early. Wake up early. No naps. No storage unit. No bullshit. Why? It'll help you. And if you overcomplicate life, your mind is going to be overcomplicated. Everything's going to be over, your relationships, everything. And I don't want to hear it. I'm not a therapist. I've learned that you can't really help people to a certain extent. You can maybe spark them, but they got to help themselves to a certain extent. And we all need to work out our issues on our own to a certain point, okay? At a certain level as adults, okay? And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.